Hello there. This is day 39 of the spontaneous speaking practices in order to build our mind muscle connection. So, this day is again that day that we have already mentioned in our one of the previous video as well, that once we decide to build up a momentum of getting onto the track of forming some task, it is high likely that at some point, no matter how hard we try, we always end up arriving at a point where we do feel like not engaging into that practice anymore for some time at least. So this is probably that day today. I didn't feel like I should show up today and get into the practice that I have initiated. But the fun fact is that there is no choice. There is no choice, and there is no miracle that is going on out there that one can engage into any practice and they repeatedly do it, and that can make them someone, right? It's not something that miracle thing is happening, that the consistency or the being consistent has been associated with. But once someone just commits themselves to be consistent, it just does few things into one's head. It sort of creates that commitment of being consistent as a physical entity. Now that once that commitment have been made, that just takes the shape of a physical entity in the person's head, and now every time person feels that he doesn't feel like doing it one day, or he doesn't feel like doing it for like a couple of days or so that physical entity that have got created as an outcome of one committing oneself to do it consistently just haunts the person. It doesn't only haunt him, but it stays there to ask for the answers. It establishes a sort of accountability for not being able to show up. So that is why maybe getting onto the act of commitment and getting onto the track of being consistent may help someone, because now the person is not just have promised themselves to be consistent, or it's not just getting enhancement in their existing skill set by repeatedly showing up onto that, but it also becomes mentally answerable to that self promise that one has given, which based upon how intensely that has been highlighted or has been committed to oneself is high likely to take a shape of a physical entity. Although it might not be visible, but the person might, of course, like can feel the presence of that commitment that one has given to oneself, that he will be consistent. Now every day he won't feel like being there to engage into that practice. He will be haunted, or he will feel like he have some accountability to answer some entity. Now that entity can be his ideal self, his higher self, his whatever version of self that have emerged the very moment that he have promised himself. So this thing is effective, like not this thing, like giving commitment to oneself is not only effective in a way that one get used to of performing a specific task, because of being consistent onto that, or consistently showing up to that, but also he becomes answerable to his own self-promise that he has made to himself. So that is why maybe creating this self-commitment, or as like creating this self-commitment to be consistent onto any specific task does helps. Not helps, but it should not be about this polarity that if it helps only then we'll be doing something, but it is something like we can give ourselves a commitment, we can commit ourselves, and then we can get into the act of like completing that. So that is, by the way, this day is something that I was not feeling at all to be here and do this, but still I ended up being here because of that self-commitment that I made, that left me with no option, that left me with two possibilities, that if I won't be showing up today, then I may win because I would conform to my emotional state that would sort of reinforce or highlight me being valuing my own mood, my states, my mindset, that if I don't feel like showing up or doing something, then I can take break from my own self. That might help me in short term, but in the long term it would definitely not help me in a way that it should, because it will haunt me. The feeling of regret is more heavier than feeling of not showing up, is what they say. Alright, day 39 I guess, I forgot. Bye bye. We'll show up tomorrow. Bye.